It's Rob from Property Investments UK, and in today's video we're going to be looking at serviced accommodation and how it works from a tenancy kind of profile, and also tenancy agreement and the structure that's in place between the letting agents and also the investor client. So when it comes to renting properties, let's say straightforward vanilla buy-to-lets, traditional kind of rental process in place, an AST and a short-hold tenancy agreement is very often used between the tenant and the landlord. Now when it comes to other types of tenancy profiles or other types of rental agreements, and we do a range of different kind of properties on the site, we look at social housing, we look at HMOs, we look at serviced accommodation, and they all have slightly different structures. Now with serviced accommodation, you guys obviously are the managing agent, you run all that kind of side of things, and you have the corporate let tenant profile in place, Paul. How do you structure the agreements, I guess, with you guys, the people that are going to be staying in the property, and then also the investor, the client, the owner of the property?
So someone buys a property through us as a normal buy-to-let property, which makes it easier all around for everybody else. So when it comes to completion, during this phase we'll have talked about what it's important to know that they've still got every option available. You know, the serviced model isn't an obligation. You know, if you buy a property through us that's offering it, you can go through a normal AST route. So you can manage it yourself. You can go to a local agent who specialises in that area, get them to manage it. That is not a problem.
Because they're straightforward assets, aren't they?
It's a straightforward asset, It's yours to sell when you want, it's yours to do whatever you want with. What we say to you is we're offering you a third and fourth option, ultimately. And one is, they both involve us looking after that property. There's two different ones. We will give you an assured rental on that property. And this is an agreement between ourselves, residential estates, and the buyer. Separate contract from us to you. So we'll give you an assured rental on that property, which will be higher than what you would normally get on after on net AST. So with that, we'll pay all the bills, service charges, ground rents, you name it, it's paid for you, and you just receive the net sum.
But on that, sure, like there's some letting agents, mainstream high street letting agents, and also some insurance products that give like the assured rental guarantees. But very often they are, it's a percentage of the rent. They might charge a fee if it's an insurance product, or if it's a high street letting agent, they'll say, right, if your rent is, let's say 100% of the rental income, we'll take 25% or whatever it might be,
and we'll guarantee you 75%.
And then we'll guarantee that. So local market rent is X, and you're getting Y below that level. Is your rent guarantee? Do you look at the same kind of structure, or is it slightly different?
No,
you pay better, don't you?
As a company, we do that. As a company on normal ASTs, we do that, like any other letting agent. But on the corporate model, it's slightly different. So we will look at it, and we will base on on our occupancy rates, we will base it on what we assume we can quite easily give them. Because for example, with Luton 5%, Manchester 6%, we're offering that 6% net, which is higher than what you would achieve on a normal AST on any other guarantee. And that 6%, we will also pay over and above the 6%, should I say, we will also pay, the service charge, ground rent, management, etc. Everything comes out, and whatever's left after that, we make.
So if you wanted a rent guarantee structure, you can do it, but you're not in a worse position because you're doing it. You still get a very good return.
You're in a better position. You're in a better position. I will also offer a revenue share scheme, which is slightly more complicated to go onto on video. But what that means, it's just a simple share. It goes on, I guess you call it a risk-reward basis, where we take 25%, you take 75%. You look after the costs out of your 75%, which we will still manage for you. But that's where you can achieve a significantly higher income.
So it's more like a traditional letting structure where you have the rental income kind of coming in at the top, management in place, they take a management fee from it, and then if it's not tenanted, unfortunately, there's no rental income coming in, but it's important that therefore you do work on the right properties, right projects, right sites, so you make sure your occupancy, as you said before, is like 90%.
And there are aspects in place. We do have a parachute payment in place to make sure it's covered. But we also have breaks in the contract as well, because we do know, so for example, if a client is going to be happy with 6% net in Manchester, that is without doubt. If someone offered you that, you'd probably bite the hand off it on a normal AST. But if you see that you could have earned potentially 12% in that year, when we show you how it's been occupied, then you're going to have a little bit of, why didn't you do it? So we have breaks in the contract where we can say, after 6 months, okay, well, have a look, see what you're doing, and then switch if you like. We will also offer parachute payments where if we don't book it for a certain percentage of the month, then we will give you what that return would have been, you know, to make sure that, you know, your finance is covered, your service charges are covered, etc. But I think it all goes back to the same thing. You know, at the end of the day, if we're giving a guarantee, on the guarantee aspect, if we're giving a guarantee and paying all the bills, we're incredibly motivated to make sure that we're selecting the right apartments and selecting the right clients. And on a revenue share, if we're on a 25-75 split, the bigger your 75 split is, the bigger our 25 split is. So it's important for the client to know that we are literally going into business with them. They don't have to be involved with our suppliers, so we'll have a separate contract with our suppliers. So that's nothing to do with the investor. They will be notified who they're using, but our contract is saying either, right, okay, we commit on the 1st or 15th of every month to giving you X pounds per month for your apartment, simple as, or we'll go on the revenue share scheme, and that agreement between them and us.
And then the agreements that you have in place, you will have a management agreement, I guess, in place between you guys and the landlords.
All legally, contractually binding.
So I guess from an investor's viewpoint, it doesn't need to necessarily be complicated. If they want to go down the straightforward buy-to-let route, straightforward AST, they can do with the normal local tenant profile, but the option to achieve a better rental income on the property by going the serviced accommodation route, there's a structure in place that gives them the flexibility whether they want a guaranteed rent or they want something else.
I guess that's the best way of putting it. On a normal buy-to-let, there's only two doors, A and B. A is manage it yourself, B is get someone else to manage it for you, just on a standard AST. But now we've give, you know,
other options,
a sort of golden platinum door as well to offer you. So you've just got, and options are always good for someone, you know, at the end of the day. And because we're letting agents as well, if for any reason something didn't work, you know, the corporate model didn't work, we would then make sure we just get it on a normal AST, at least for a certain amount of time, to make sure something was coming in for you. So we have got every option available to us, and more importantly, the buyer, when they buy an apartment in a good location that's going to make money, has more options, and they can be discussed anytime. You know, it's nothing to do with the reservation, the exchange process. It's all to do with the contact and saying, right, okay, we'll show you our real-time revenue analysis share from other locations, how it's working. You choose. These are the benefits.
So there are obviously tenancy agreements in place, or agreements in place with the managing agents, but unlike a traditional kind of straightforward tenancy, if it were a vanilla buy-to-let AST, there's other options. So when you buy like an investment property like the one we're in today, there are other options that you can kind of run that property on, rather than just a straightforward buy-to-let. Serviced accommodation, as long as you have the right management contracts in place, can be a very good option too as well. So hopefully that video helps give some kind of context around the agreements and the tenant profiles as well, like the corporate tenant profiles in place. All the best. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating cash flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the properties you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.